Hello and welcome to ICANN Media. We are coming to you from beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia. We are just outside of Canada Place where a huge conference is going on called Globe 2014. I'm your host, Rob Hislop, and over the next couple of days we're going to be heading into the conference, taking in some of the many sessions and talking to some of the keynote speakers. Some of the topics discussed: changing energy landscapes and responsible resource management. Now, there are over 250 plus speakers, world leaders in their industry, talking here over the next 3 days. 50 plus countries are represented, and there are over 300 exhibitors at the trade show. We are going to give you a taste of what Globe 2014 has in store. Two years ago here in Vancouver, ICANN Media had a chance to meet this gentleman beside me right now, Dan Wicklum. You're with COSIA. Globe 2012 was sort of a coming out for COSIA.
Yeah, 2 years ago, Globe 2012, we had launched COSIA just a couple of weeks. So at that point, I think understandably in terms of the evolution of the organization, we were telling people about what we were going to do and what the potential of the organization was. And actually I feel pretty good 2 years into the future to be able to stand here today and report back on what the companies have accomplished in those 2 years.
Okay, well, first off, tell us what COSIA stands for and what your goal is.
COSIA is Canada's Oil Sands Innovation Alliance. And what we are is an alliance of 13 oil sands producers that are accelerating the pace of environmental performance improvement through collaborative action and innovation.
Okay. This is something new for the industry.
Well, in fact, I think it's something new for the world. We've got global business leaders like Michael Porter, who's a Harvard professor that quite literally wrote most of the textbooks for MBA courses. You know, he's been up to the oil sands, and in his research and his knowledge, he doesn't know of another sector that is collaborating as deeply as what these oil sands companies are doing. And what that means, collaboration, really is sharing within 4 areas: water, land, tailings, and greenhouse gases. Just on the environment, and of course just in the oil sands, the companies are sharing knowledge, best practices, but they're even going so far as sharing their technology and giving each other use rights to their technology, royalty-free in perpetuity for the oil sands.
So what have you seen happen then over the last 2 years?
So far, the companies have shared 560 technologies that cost about $1 billion to develop. So what this means in practical terms is the companies now have essentially 560 new technology options in those 4 priority areas that they can elect to choose or elect to use and implement to decrease their environmental footprint in those 4 areas. So essentially they have many, many more options now than they had before COSIA.
Tell me about the benefits of sharing the technology between companies.
I think you can describe the benefits on a number of different levels. One is simply not having to pay a royalty for technology. That's very easy to define. Some of the things that are less easy to define, but I think are just as important, is the access to the technical knowledge inside of these 4 areas across the sector. Let me give you an example. We hold very deliberate site visits. So company A would articulate on paper what their 3 main challenges are for recycling water. And then we take those 3 challenges, we put them into the COSIA model. Then the other companies, the other 12 companies, can descend on that company's site, prepared to answer or to tell that company how they deal with those challenges. So now you've harnessed the intellectual capacity, frankly, of the whole sector to solve the challenges of one company. So that's not just the concept of collaborating in terms of sharing, but it's sharing intellectual capacity and sharing problem-solving ability in terms of best practices.
And you're not duplicating mistakes either, which has to help speed things up.
That, it's a great point that didn't come out in the panel today, but you're right. The sharing, we share also the results of experiments. And one of the great things is to understand when a technology didn't work, or when an experiment, frankly, was a failure, because you don't have to go down that rabbit hole again. So we have companies that take a look at technology lists and they say, wow, we're not going to use that technology because we understand now that it just won't work for us. So they can quickly go on to another technology platform and start realizing results in a way that is probably much more cost effective for them and much more effective.
So when we bump into you at Globe 2016, what will you have accomplished over the next couple of years?
Well, I think the companies will have let the current suite of projects, which is about 190 projects with a price tag of about $500 million, many of those will have matured, and we will have shared those technologies. We're really pushing on this concept of sharing best practices. Again, things are a little bit softer. It's not a patent that you can actually point someone to or hand them a document to say use this. But the oil sands can sometimes be a finicky business. which dials to turn, in what order do you do processes, these types of things that can all lead to efficiencies and environmental performance improvement. So we're really going to push on the next couple of years is very formal ways to share best practices and experience in terms of how to operate.
Wonderful. Dan, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
We've been chatting with Dan Wicklum of COSIA.